home. But real quick, when I got you guys here, I want to ask a question I always wonder about. Gene, you're the boss. You're the owner. How do you decide what to pay yourself?
First of all, I don't know if you decide what to pay yourself. It's sort of your business drives what you're going to pay yourself. I mean, in the end, I pay myself a certain compensation that's commensurate with what the CEO of a 10 to 20 person company should be having for tax purposes. So I can, take money out of that and, put taxes away. But I have an S corporation, so whatever's left over in the day, that's what winds up in the bank, and I decide whether or not I'm going to spend that or not. So
I'm trying to figure out, what do I pay myself that would be commensurate with if this was not my own company?
Correct.
Wait, go back and explain why, if you're pulling out the amount of money that you would like to take home, but that means that your bottom line is not as impressive as it should be. Why do you care?
Well, you're fooling yourself, though.
Right, you're right. Just for your own assessment of how is my company doing. Right. I'm always, I've been in lots of business groups. I'm always amused when guys throw out, I made X amount last year, and I go, how much did you pay yourself? Like next to nothing. I go, well, that's why it perverts the number either way.
But only you have to know that.
Well, but that's why I say allocate is a better number. I'm just saying allocating. Yeah. So the answer is, how much do I allocate? In my case, I'm thinking 1-2% of sales.
Interesting. Lou, you see way more companies and owners than most people in the world get to see. What do you usually see? What do most owners do?
They fall into several buckets. They overpay themselves ridiculously. They underpay themselves ridiculously. They fund the bottom line by not paying themselves. And I think that there should be a degree of reasonableness, which would take some time to discuss depending on the status of the business.
The government wants you to have that as well.
and their debt load.
Yeah.
I'm always concerned about debt versus what an owner's taking in income.
Right.
Here's a huge problem. When they've been in business 20, 30 years and they own the building, they stop charging themselves for rent what they should charge themselves. So then, and my kid's in real estate, he does small real estate development, and he finds a restaurant, for instance, that's extremely well known in Chicago. They can't sell it because if they had to pay the rent that the building was worth, there'd be no profit left. So as a result, over the last 30 years, the dinners are too cheap, frankly, and they should have been charging more if they would have treated the building as a business. So they kind of cornered themselves they made a business that really was being artificially funded by not charging themselves the proper rent, and that is a common problem after 20, 30 years.
And Lauren, if I can just also add to what Jay is saying, is that someday I want to sell my business, and if you're walking around thinking you want to sell your business, if I'm going to bring in somebody from the outside, like Lou, if I'm going to bring you in to sell my business to you one day, are you going to laugh me out of the room because of what I'm paying myself, I'm overpaying myself, underpaying myself?
We sort of look at it like this, Gene. We sort of look at it as owner's compensation, real rent that an owner is taking if they're a property owner,
right,
and real net profit.
Right.
So we look at it as a bucket.
Right.
That's the way we do things. So any one of those pieces can be distorted, but together it's kind of tough to distort what the real picture is.
Good point.
So how an owner treats himself is based on a lot of circumstances, but as I said before, I'm always concerned about what their debt level is versus what they're taking out because they are accountable to someone else.